Sage the Gemini once said in some famous lyrics, "Slow down, grab the wall, wiggle like you're trying to make your butt fall off, gas pedal, gas pedal." And I think those lyrics really sum up my reselling business currently and some decisions that we're making, because we had to slow down, grab the wall, aka find some foundation, find some structure, and that way we could, wiggle, improve our business, and then hit that gas pedal, in which our trajectory as resellers increases at a very fast pace, aka super speed NASCAR. Whatever. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is the fact that we are closing down our office. Yeah, it's gone. We're getting rid of it, and we're going back to the basement, and we are so pumped right now. We are so pumped to be getting back to the basement and getting rid of the office. And I know a lot of people will be like, what? Why would you be excited to be moving backwards, right? That seems like a moving backwards type of situation. And I'm going to explain to you in so many ways as to why it is that it is not moving backward for us. It is actually going to be giving us a crazy momentum going forwards. So let's get into the story. So last summer, we were growing pretty crazy because we acquired a consignment deal. And because of said consignment deal, we did not have the space in our basement to be able to handle the sudden increase of inventory and just moving things around. It wasn't possible for our basement. So we took the natural step, which was to upgrade our life and get an office and a storage unit. And you can follow that whole entire series on my YouTube channel. But it was the right choice. It was 100% the right choice for when we did it. And Nathan and I are both the kind of people that know that we are in that growing part of our life right now. So we're like, okay, everything that we do, we need to be able to pivot. We need to be able to adapt quickly. So we did a month-to-month office, and we have a month-to-month storage unit. Even our apartment or our townhouse is month-to-month. We like to be able to adapt and move quickly. But also, when we got into the office, we were doing whatnot. And doing whatnot in our house was literally just causing so much chaos and stress because I was doing it in the living room. So every single layer of our life made sense to have a specific space that got out of our house that allowed us to kind of have our own time away from the family, away from the house, where we were able to have like privacy. My YouTube was starting to take off, and I was like, okay, I can edit videos there. Just every single layer of our life made sense for getting the office last summer. And heck yeah, dude, it felt like we were leveling up. It was like, dude, we have an office. Like, how sick, how sick is it to have an office? I can tell you, it felt really damn good to be like only in our first 6 months of doing this full time and like already getting into an office and all that jazz. It felt amazing at the time, and it made sense when we did it. 100%. There's no regrets. No regrets. No regrets.
That's my credo. No regrets.
Slowly but surely, though, we realized the office was just adding a whole other layer to everything that we were trying to achieve. I wouldn't even just say one layer. I would say 10,000 layers. I feel like it was death by 1,000 cuts over the last few months. And I think something that was like just slowly but surely starting to like kill us is just the movement between all three locations, because we still keep all of our inventory in our basement. And then we were doing, photos and shipping and stuff there, but we'd have to pull our inventory from here and take it to the office. We had to use a laundromat because it seemed silly to bring the inventory home to wash in our basement. It was easier to go to a laundromat. So there's more, areas, more waste of time and energy. And then it was just like the silly things that you don't really think about. So like, yeah, you're wasting your time and energy between driving back and forth. But then it was like eating out a lot. Like we were eating McDonald's like it was going out of style. Like you would think that McDonald's was never coming back. That's how my car consumed so many McDonald's bags. It was disturbing, and it reminded me of who I used to be, and I did not like that. But it's clean now, so that's good. And then you add on top of all of that, on top of just by having a stinky car that smelled like McDonald's, you add in the rent. So you're adding another, almost $1,000 a month for rent. Then you have an electricity bill. You have to clean the place. You have to organize the place. On top of that, you're organizing and cleaning here. You're paying the rent here. It just became where there was just so much friction between the life that we're trying to build and the life that we were struggling to maintain. And I feel like that's a really good way of saying it, struggling to maintain, because it's just us two. And there's really, no reason for us to leave the basement at this point of our time, because at this point, the huge consignment thing is kind of narrowed down a little bit to where we don't need the office. Sometimes what looks like growth is actually just more movement. It's just like you're adding more layers to it, which makes you feel like you're doing something that's like bigger and crazier and all that sort of stuff. But then you realize to be able to do the thing that you're doing, you don't need all of those extra steps, all of those extra layers. You're overcomplicating the whole entire process to make it work. And then you start trying to like push it and, just get through it, just keep moving, keep doing. And we were strategizing nonstop, trying to figure out like, how can we make this work? What if Tuesdays is laundry day and Wednesday is sorting day and you got to get up, you got to, get your packages, go to the office. It was just so much waste. And I'll talk a little bit more about waste. I think in my next video, I'm going to kind of break down how to find waste within your business, because I think that's something I like reflecting on things that I'm currently going through. I think that's the easiest way to talk about it and explain it to people. And currently, waste is something that we are cutting out, and I would love to bring, that information to you. So tune in for the next video. It's going to be about waste and how to get rid of it. Our big giant thing that we're trying to achieve is to build a business that works for us. Like the whole point of us leaving corporate America and going about this was to like live our passion, live our life, live the thing that we're working so hard to achieve, which is enjoying every single day. It's not easy. It's never supposed to be easy, but it's supposed to be enjoyable. We're supposed to be getting happiness out of it and fulfillment, and pushing ourselves in getting into the office felt like we were pushing ourselves in a direction that wasn't cohesive with the direction that we want to go. Because we have some other business ideas right now and we don't have time. We can't even work on them and like dabble them in because we don't have the extra time to be able to even do that, which is so silly. So it's like, why not cut out this massive thing that's just a time waster and an energy waster and just go back to basics, right? Like at the end of last year, beginning of this year, I told you we're going back to basics. At the time, we didn't realize that was getting rid of the office, but now we do. Now we realize that is probably one of the key things for this whole entire going back to basics that just simplifies our life. And especially now more than ever, we have a baby a couple months away from popping out, and we're like really good. We work really good as a team in separating ourselves, and like him being at the office for 8 hours a day when we're trying to build this thing, and our daughter's now kind of enjoying doing this with us, our 2-year-old. And I don't like the idea of having to like bundle up both the kids to go to the office when it's like I could just like throw on my slippers and go in the basement. Like that's so much more dope than having to go to an office. We don't currently have employees. Was that an idea last year to get employees and that was another reason for the office? For sure. But we realized that that's just not where we want to be right now, because that would actually hurt us more than help us for our big picture that we currently have. Like currently our baseline is flexibility. We want to be flexible. We want to be able to adapt and, build this thing out. But in order to do so, we need to save more time. We need more time. We need more energy. We need all of those things. So at the end of the day, what's the one thing that's costing us all of those things? The office. So sayonara, home slice. We got to be out in a couple weeks. I'm one of those people that just like to cut the cord. I was like, let's get this basement reorganized, which we are currently doing, and it's coming along awesome. I'll give you guys an update on that soon. But yeah, and it's crazy. Here's something that the office did teach us. And that was workflow and simplicity, because when we got into the office, it was an open space. Our basement was never really an open space because once we started doing this, we kind of, hoarded a death pile. And it kind of, made it to where we didn't have open space. It was always limiting our area, and it was always like, closing off our mind to the big picture of the room. But going into the office and having a big area and being able to really like fine tune and figure out the best process for things allowed us to bring that back into the basement. So that really helped us. Now our workflow that we currently are building out in here that we'll have done in like the next week or so is so efficient. It is so calculated. It is such a time saver, an energy saver. Everything is just like, it's all working out the way that it's supposed to work out. And another thing the office kind of taught us was just like how to have an office, how to have a secondary location, how to take care of it, how to, utilize it and maximize its space and its ability to be used outside of the home. And don't get me wrong, I had its beautiful things. I had the fact that it was separate from the house, which the house, can be chaotic. We have a family in here. I don't know if you can hear it on the microphone right now, but they're right above me and it's loud. So I apologize for that. So it can be a little chaotic, AirPods, the sound ones that make the sound turn off. Awesome. Noise canceling. 10 out of 10. Recommend if you're working in the basement. But I think the office taught us exactly the lessons that we needed to learn in this chapter of our business. And oddly enough, going back to the basement was the best move. When you see waste, the only thing that you can do, the only thing that a successful person or somebody that is, trying to build a business can do is literally get rid of it. You reduce the waste. You don't hold on to it. I told somebody recently about us getting rid of the office and they're like, "Are you okay? Are you guys okay? Like, I'm worried about you guys." And I think that's something that would stop a lot of people from making a move like this, is worrying about what other people think. Because I understand it looks like, oh, hey, they're not doing well, so they're getting rid of the office. And that's exactly the opposite of what's happening. It's we're doing so well that we found all the inefficiencies in our business, and that has led us to the direction in which this is a money waster, time waster, energy waster. It's a waster. And so what do you do when you find waste? You get rid of it. You throw it in the trash can. You get it all out of here, all right? That's something that for sure would stop a lot of people, is that ego feeling, that emotion of like, oh, I'm not as successful as I was before because I don't have an office. When in reality, that's just a space. It's just a space. It doesn't do anything, for you. Sometimes you have to reduce, the amount of people that you have on your payroll. And, there's things that you have to do sometimes that might look like you're stepping back, but in reality, you're stepping forward to achieve the bottom line picture that you have. And for every company, you should have some sort of a bottom line, something that you're working towards, something that you're trying to achieve. And for us, the thing that we're trying to achieve is, something that doesn't have a lot of friction, something that feels good to us, something that we're enjoying doing, and adding all of these extra layers in it without truly needing that space is just getting us farther and farther away from our big picture. So I will happily cut that bad boy out in a second and not worry for a moment what anyone else thinks about that. There's nothing wrong with taking a step back and just going, this is no longer serving the purpose that I am trying to achieve or working towards. So that is what that is. And I can fully understand why some people would struggle with that. Some people would struggle with, not being able to let go. I understand it. That emotion is there. You just got to ignore it and go, what actually is going to benefit me in the long run? So boom, right? Gas pedal, Yeah, so here's to us getting our lives back a little bit. I'm not going to lie. This is going to save us so much time, so much money, so much energy, effort, and it's really going to help us realign with our big picture for our family and doing this all together. And one day, could we be back into an office? Most certainly. I don't see why we wouldn't. Is it going to be like what we had before? No. One thing that I definitely learned is the only way we would do an office again is if everything is in that central location. So if you're ever looking to, I understand adding a storage unit because you don't have space. That makes sense. But if you're ever looking to add an office, make sure you pay attention to your foot traffic and how often you're going to have to add more steps to be able to do that task. So for us, very simple example is the shipping, right? Like we pull the packages from here because we feel safe with all of our inventory being here versus at like a unit for us personally. And we have to pull the items, take them to the office, package the items, put the items back into the car, take them to the post office. And then let's say we finish photoing items when they're in the boxes. We have to bring the boxes home and put them in the basement. So that's silly willy. Okay, that's silly. That's so much extra effort versus just pulling it, shipping it right here, and taking it to the post office, right? We're reducing steps, which is time, energy, effort, all that jazz. But yeah, I am very excited for where we are headed with this move. And it's so funny, before the office, I hated the basement. I hate being down here. I'm not going to lie. I've never been a basement person. I feel like there's trolls underneath the stairs and they're going to grab my ankles every time I like walk downstairs. I'm not going to lie. It's a fear I have. I used to run upstairs, even if the lights were on. It doesn't matter. I'm just freaked out by basements. But after having the office and seeing how much harder it made my life, I cannot wait to come on down to this little dark, dingy basement. But yes, as we come down here and we're making everything more efficient, we're kind of sprucing it up a little bit. We're opening up the floor plan. And that was something that we did not have before because we had said death piles and now we don't. Because we have a death pile in the storage unit. So I'm not saying we're any better, dude. I'm not saying that. We just have it off site so we don't have to see it and feel ashamed of who we are as resellers. But anyway, the wild thing is we're definitely going to 10x what we did in the last few months in this basement, in these smaller walls. I can feel it. I can sense it. I foresee it as a fortune teller of the future of our business. We're going to crush it in this basement. And my husband and I are very excited to be back here and getting rid of the waste that we have acquired by trying to learn and level up. And again, no regrets, okay? Just knowing what's best for us and the business and bringing you guys along for the ride as always. I shall end it here and say thank you so much for following along in my video series of my life and what it is that we do as resellers. But yeah, I do have a video I'm literally planning out right now. It's going to be the next one I'm going to pop up. And it's going to be about the wastes that you can find and how to identify them and how to reduce them and cut them out without letting your ego or your emotions get in the way. Because I know that's something that all of us as human beings struggle with. So I will bring my best practices, my business mindset to you guys in the next video to help you guys out and make your business faster, smoother, more efficient. If you ain't first, you're last, right, baby? I don't know. Okay, I always end this where I'm just like, what the heck am I talking about? And I probably will do that for the rest of my life. If I don't, am I really me anymore? I don't know. Okay, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here and welcome back to the basement. Here we go.